We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 118 of Vikings Uncensored. Training camp is here, ladies and gentlemen. And even though it may look like I have a new co-host, that is the same Brunswick that is always here, that you guys have all grown to know and love, just sans the Grizzly Adams beard that he's been sporting for the last 2 years. So
I'm growing it back, guys. This is just too much. I feel naked without the rest of my bushiness going on. Also, Rhino, we should really look into getting Cheetos for our sponsor, because that opening when our logo pops up, every time I want to grab a bag of fucking cheesies and start munching away. Chester Cheetah, man.
Hey, if Cheetos wants to sponsor Vikings Uncensored, give us a call, send me a message. We'll talk, and we'd be happy to get you on the show. I'll sit and eat Cheetos while we record. That's fine by me. I like Cheetos, especially I like the jalapeno ones myself. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's like, and then our logo appears, just like it just did like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're giving a podcast with orange fingers the whole time.
Yeah. The orange cheese dust all over the face. And
or that one commercial where the dude puts his finger through the hole in the wall and the dude licks it off or whatever. Is that Doritos? Or is that Cheetos? I don't remember, but it's funny.
I think that's Pornhub.
For Cheetos. Oh, man. Vikings Uncensored. What are you doing? Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't need the money. Just kidding, bro. Just kidding. Roll along here.
Yeah. All right. Can we continue now? Since we've sufficiently gone down the gutter right 20 seconds into the show.
Oh, man.
Being it is the training camp season, we've got a ton of news, both NFL and some Vikings-related type stuff to go over. And so we're going to kind of be news-heavy on this episode. We'll have a few tidbits from the start of camp. We're recording on Wednesday night here, and, of course, Wednesday was first day of practice, so we don't have a ton of practice-related stuff, but things really won't start heating up until, for a couple days anyway, until they start getting in talking about practice.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
Practice? We're talking about practice.
We're just talking about practice.
Practice.
But anyway. All right. Well, let's start in with the NFL news from around the league here. Just prior to training camp opening, the New York Giants signed running back Saquon Barkley to a 1-year deal worth $11 million.
$11 million.
Yeah. Not the big-time payday that he was hoping for, but it is more than he was.
the running back market nowadays just it's not like it was back in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's hard for a running back to come across a good second year, a second contract that's got years and money on it. Nowadays, I mean, look at the running backs in the market right now, Rhino.
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying there's quality, in Elliott and Kareem Hunt and Dalvin Cook, but none of them are getting picked up by anybody. And they are considerably still young bucks, but it's just not a commodity anymore like it used to be.
No.
I think the Giants
anyway,
made a good deal here with the 1 year deal, and not committing to anything beyond that point.
Yeah. Especially with them coming with a second splash signing on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. This one has a little bit of probably repercussions toward the Vikings, but Giants also signed their left tackle, Andrew Thomas, to a 5-year, $117.5 million contract.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
So
yeah, that's going to be implications on the Darisaw contract is what we're getting at.
Yeah, that's going to be set. That's setting the benchmark for any kind of a Darisaw extension right there. I mean,
segueing off of that, Rhino, with the whole Cole Kmet as well, getting signed in Chicago to a new deal is going to set the standard for where Hawkinson's going to be too.
Yep, and he was the next guy on my list, as Brunswick alluded to here. Cole Kmet signs a 4-year, $50 million extension, 32.8 of that guaranteed, which is going to again set the market for Hawkinson, because if Kmet's getting 4 years, $50 million, Hawkinson's going to get more than that.
Show Kmet the money.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
There you go, Cole. That's for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing with something on a Hawkinson extension, you're probably looking at 4 and 60, a $15 million a year or something like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, that's a couple of the big signings here the last couple of days anyway. Potentially more to come. We got a couple we'll talk about here, Vikings related here in a bit, but some good news, some feel-good kind of stuff, I guess, here from a couple of guys. Bills safety DeMar Hamlin, of course, as everyone will remember, actually died on the field in Cincinnati. Suffered a severe cardiac incident and was technically dead for a few minutes.
Right.
Is a full go at Buffalo Bills training camp and will practice without restrictions.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I mean, just the fact that the guy's even able to come back at all, and to come back in that short of a time to be able to, be full song again is just amazing.
Well, it just shows how much of a freak accident that actually was, really. I mean, and for the ability to come back from said accident, it could have happened to anybody. Is what it was.
Yeah.
The way the hit was made and how it was made at the time of the beat of the heart, it could have been any of us, if we were playing a contact sport. So yeah, just for the simple fact that he's back and a full participant is beyond amazing in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. And then another one, Houston Texans wide receiver John Mechie, who missed his entire rookie season last year because he has leukemia, has also been fully cleared for training camp and is back too. So another good story. Wish that kid the best of luck as well, coming back from something that, a couple of very serious.
Here a while back, we had a player that was battling leukemia as well, right? In Kenichi Udeze, wasn't he battling?
Yeah, it was some type of leukemia, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't able to come back and play, but he's gotten it. He's into coaching and stuff now, I believe.
Absolutely. Yep. You're right.
Then the Vikings themselves decided to make a few minor signings as well before camp opened up, starting with tight end and long snapper Colin Thompson, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. Started 6 games with Carolina, only 1 career catch, came back in 2020. Pretty good sized dude, though. He's 6'4", 255 pounds. One thing to give him a little bit of stuff to pull for, he's actually a podcaster as well. So,
oh, nice.
I forget what the name of his podcast is, but I know Luke Braun brought it up on Twitter here, or X, as it's called now, or whatever the hell Elon's calling it.
Oh, okay.
Right after we signed him, it was kind of a little discussion on the thing there, but most likely a camp guy, but that final tight end spot is a competition. I mean, Johnny Munt, of course, is the guy that has it right now, but you have him, you have Nick Muse, you have the Sims kid, and now Thompson, who will all vie for that final spot. I'm guessing we only keep 3 tight ends, but we might keep 4. I don't know.
I look for us just to keep 3. There's needs another place is more dire than the tight end spot,
especially when we got CJ Ham, who rolls in as a blocker
basically
too.
Essentially, your tight end fullback, like Klein Saucer role, so.
Right. Then we also signed guard Jack Snyder.
This guy is very intriguing to me.
Yeah. And no, Lance, he's not the guy that directed Justice League.
No, but in all reality, I think this dude scored like a 9.6 on the RAS scale, which is a great score. That's out of 10. So,
He did spend.
It's intriguing to me.
Yeah, he did spend some time with the Rams 2 years ago, I believe it was.
Most recently, the XFL.
XFL, yep. Then he's out of San Diego State originally. Then the final signing was tackle Bobby Evans, former Ram, who was on the Vikings practice squad at the end of last year after Brian O'Neill got hurt. They signed him back. So we have a full complement of players on the roster now.
Brian O'Neill entering camp off of the injured list. I don't know if you have that written down right now.
Yeah, I have that written down for later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to spoil it for you.
No, way to step on a touchdown call.
Let you do your job. Let's not have a Skip and Shannon thing going on here now.
Yeah. We're uncensored, not undisputed.
Right.
But then also this week, the NFL started releasing their top 100 players for 2023 list. I believe they're up through 71 now. So far, only 1 current Viking on the list. Harrison Smith came in at number 97.
Wow. Okay.
TJ Hawkinson missed the list altogether. He was an honorable mention at 107.
Mind fucking do me, honestly. How does that even? Whatever. No respect.
Yeah.
No respect.
No, that's absolute bullshit. I mean, he was the best 2 or 3 tight ends in the league once he came over from Detroit last year.
How do you explain what he did coming here? For the first game he came here, he made a fucking impact. And then he continued to make the same impact more so throughout the season as it went on.
Yeah. Well, didn't he had like 9 he had like 9 catches that first game.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. No respect for the dude. I hope he comes in and just tears it up. And you know what? The thing is, I look for a lot out of Oliver as well at that time.
I do too. Because he came in for his blocking prowess, but he is a pretty good pass catcher as well.
His hands and red zone ability right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was.
Dude is fucking huge, Rhino. Have you seen him?
Mm-hmm. Big dude.
He is a specimen at tight end. It's ridiculous. He reminds speaking of guys out of Baltimore, he reminds me of that fullback out of Baltimore, that Ricard that tore our ass up that one game a few years back.
Mm.
I think he might have even been on our team for a little bit. We cut him and he went to Baltimore and they changed him into like a fullback hybrid. And he ripped our ass up. But Oliver's comparable in size to him anyways. I'm ranting and raving, but I'll let you do that.
You can rant and rave all you want to. We got time to kill tonight.
Right.
But so far, 3 former Vikings in the list. Eric Kendricks at 93. Delvin Cook at 91, even though he doesn't have a team yet. And Zadarius Smith at 84. I don't know who, I mean, how many of them, more people are going to be on the list. I'm guessing Darrisaw will be on there someplace. Kirk will be on there. Jefferson, of course.
I don't know.
Yeah,
they might leave Jefferson off too.
Yeah, he wasn't even an honorable mention. So
this guy's a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah. So I mean, but that realistically probably is going to be about it for Vikings.
Darrisaw deserves to be on the list. Absolutely, Rhino. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going.
If Darrisaw is not on the list, this list is bullshit completely.
Yeah.
But anywho, that they're releasing 10 per day here, so by Friday you'll have.
I don't see any more defensive players. Maybe Hunter making the list, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, Hunter might be on there, but yeah, there won't be anybody else.
I don't foresee anybody else on that defense making the list. No. No disrespect, Vikings, but you should have been better last year, and that might have been Donatel, but this year will tell us the story. So.
Right. But anyway, that's the NFL-wide news for as we have it right here now on Wednesday evening as we record. With that, we're going to roll into our viral video of the week and then come back and talk training camp. So grab yourself another cold one, check this one out, and we'll be back in just a second.
Barrel roll.
They say the third time is the charm, so let's see what happens here. Oh my God, I'm dying. No, you're gonna end up getting me a new phone.
1, 2, 3, go! Yes!
Here they come.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, shoot. Are you okay, buddy? Oh, great.
No, don't bring it to me. Don't bring it to Oh.
It's only 2 hours back. There'll be 3. That's damn. We had to build a fire now? Yeah. Yeah. Commit. Commit. Commit.
No. Hey. Oh, Dad, you got it. You got it, Dad. No.
All right, we are back, and now we roll into all of the latest news and first day activities out of Vikings training camp. Of course, from a player side of things, Danielle Hunter did report.
Right.
You know, that was the big talker, is whether or not he would do a holdout or if he would show up or not, or what was going on.
He's doing a hold in, as I like
Yes.
to call it.
Yes,
Which is
he
kinda
did.
nice. He's around the team at least.
Yeah, he did report he's not practicing, will not practice until they get something done, but he did show up at least. So
He's in-house, and that says a lot, in my opinion. It does. Not many players do that. You know, if they're holding out, they don't come and hold in, basically, is what's going on here.
well, he's pulling the Marshawn Lynch. He just here so he doesn't get fined thing.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
That's very true. There's some truth to that for sure.
Yeah. But I know both Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi were both quizzed on the Hunter situation in the press conferences. O'Connell says he does not expect, you know, he's got to get up to speed on a bunch of stuff anyway because he missed all the offseason activities and whatnot.
Right, you got a new D coordinator coming in. There's got to be some things there that you got to get ironed out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you know, the talks are ongoing. They'll get something figured out. I feel better about the situation knowing that Hunter showed up. So I think they'll get something done the next couple of days.
I
here,
think
to be
if they
honest
get
with you.
anything it's done, it's going to be a Rick Spielman type of deal, kicking the can down the road. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I know Kwesi doesn't seem to want to do that too much.
Right, right. Not at all. Right now, up until this point, and hopefully going forward, all of his contracts that he's done have been pretty smart, you know, as far as what it goes down in the writing anyways.
Right. But then on the injury front, as Lance alluded to earlier, right tackle Brian O'Neill is a full participant, no limitations, did not go on the PUP list. So O'Connell said, of course, what's that?
That's great. That's great news.
Yeah. O'Connell said, of course, you know, they're going to play it smart with him. Same thing they're doing with Lewis Seen, you know, kind of taking it smart, not overdoing it right off the get-go, but both Seen and O'Neill are full goes.
It's pretty impressive, though. An Achilles injury is pretty serious, man. So
yeah, I mean, it was a partial tear.
It essentially ended Lodeholt's career, basically.
Yeah, Lodeholtz was a little more severe, I think, than O'Neill's was. But
O'Neill's was just a partial tear, I believe, and Lodeholtz is basically the shit exploded. So
right.
Yo.
But then a couple other ones. Edge rusher Andre Carter II placed on the active PUP list. Now, being he's on the active PUP list, they can take him off that at any point in time. So I'm not quite sure what he's dealing with as far as
I'm hearing soft muscle something.
Some kind of a hammy or something. But so they're going to be taking these with him for
nothing crazy.
Right.
Not just a tweak.
Don't say that word. Guard/center Chris Reed on the non-football injury list. That's I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Speaking of non-football injuries, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Did you see what happened with Nyheim Hines up in Buffalo?
No.
The dude was out last weekend just sitting on a jet ski stationary out on the lake, and somebody hit him on another jet ski. Sustained serious injuries. He's out for the year.
Wow. Safety first, guys.
Yeah, I mean, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. They said he was just sitting there, and some other numbnuts wasn't paying attention.
Right.
Piled into him.
Numbnuts is exactly the term that should be used. Yes. Numbnuts, dumbass, fuckhead.
You see that way too many times on jet skis. I mean, I don't want to sound like the get off my freaking lawn kind of guy, but
No, but
I've seen enough of those.
Run into somebody that's sitting on his jet ski.
Yeah.
Pay the fuck attention, man.
Right. But a lot of them don't.
No.
But anyway, back to the Vikings. Also, I feel like a dumbass after this guy was one of my guys to watch in training camp last week. Wide receiver Malik Knowles was waived a non-football injury on Monday, but did pass through waivers, reverted back to the team and on to injured reserve.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that last week too.
We talked about that as some sort of way to potentially keep players that may not be 100% around for
suffered a hangnail.
Yeah.
That could be season ending.
Oh, my liver!
Ah, my liver! My liver! My liver!
Lower down, dude.
Oh, yeah, my liver! My liver! My liver!
But anyway, as we had mentioned on the contract front, not only is the Danielle Hunter discussion taking place, Kwesi said that talks of both Jefferson and Hawkinson are ongoing as well. So
I love the comments from Jefferson about the contract situation. Did you happen to hear those?
What's your mindset just practicing without the contract right now? It seemed like you were a full participant.
I mean, that's not the worries that I have right now. It's really all about winning the Super Bowl. Just getting the wins and being with my team. The contract is going to play itself, and I'm just out here to play football.
Yeah, basically said he's not concerned with it. He just wants to be here with his teammates and wants to work towards winning the Super Bowl. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying, dude. Perfect way to attack that question.
Yeah, just leave it up to the agent.
That's a pro's pro right there, Rhino.
Yeah, and Hawkinson's credit too. He hasn't said anything about it either. He said it'll take care of itself, kind of thing. That's why these guys hire agents. Those agents do the negotiations with the team, and then when there's something, even to Kirk Cousins, somebody asked him about, the contract extension thing on in his interview, and he said he basically told his representation now that camp has started, don't come to me with anything unless there's news or progress on anything. And he said, and I haven't heard anything. So
right, that's good to hear. Coming out of Kirk too. So I mean, you basically know that he's here for the year and nothing. And then we can move forward.
Right.
So
nothing guaranteed beyond that, and we'll deal with that after the season. But
right.
Then Kwesi was also asked by Kevin Seifert from ESPN about the Dalvin Cook situation, and if there was a chance of Dalvin Cook coming back or whatever. And Kwesi's response basically is, I want to be excited about what we have here and maybe not talk about things like that. So
Kirk had said something along the lines of, right after Dalvin had been released, that maybe he could end up back here. And I don't know if he was musing about it or planting a seed or just kind of he likes him. But is that within the realm of possibility?
Dalvin obviously was a great player for a long time. We're just going to right now focus on the guys we have here in camp. It's we're here beginning of training camp. I want to be excited about what we have here and maybe not speak about things like that. And obviously, everything's possible in this league. So I'll never close the door. But I'd really like to just focus on who we have here today.
To me, that doesn't sound like there's much of a desire for Cook to come back.
Right.
We had heard that the Vikings had put a contract offer out there to him at one point in time. But
at this point in the NFL, see our year-long agenda, you would hope by this point you either put that behind you or you're moving forward. You know what I mean? You don't want to be still dealing with a former player and whether or not he's coming back to your team or not by the time training camp rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it's not fair to the players on the roster, and it's not fair to Dalvin out there somewhere either looking for a job.
No.
Well,
and to put a little exclamation point on it from Dalvin's side also, he was on Rich Eisen's show here Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, and was asked about it. And Cook straight out said he wants to be in a different system where he gets the ball more, because he said he basically saw the writing on the wall last year that the Vikings weren't going to be a run-first team anymore. And basically he wants to go someplace where he's the centerpiece, not just a complementary piece.
And in this day and age, and like we've mentioned before, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a team that's going to pick you up at this point in time at your age and the wear and tear on your tires. And honestly, the inability to stay healthy every year that you've been in the league, outside of last year and another season outside of that. So,
right. Now, if somebody's running back gets hurt or something like that, that opens things up. If one of these teams that's going to be starting off with a rookie quarterback, who looks like he might need.
It's no secret, Rhino, that this league has not been kind to aging running backs in the past 10 years.
Well, I would say the last 3 to 4 at least, because, Cook got his big deal. Zeke Elliott got his big deal. And, that's pretty much the end of it for most of these guys.
It never used to be like that. But now that the league has evolved and things are changing more to the past, you're looking at less use of a bell cow running back, basically, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And, the league is a cyclical thing. Maybe in another 5 years, some of these teams will be heading back towards more
of a run
game. And then the backs will become more valuable again. We don't know. But as of right now, it's not a good time to be a running back in search of a contract.
It really isn't. No.
But
I think honestly, there's only like 3 or 4 teams in the league that still really push hard on the run game. When Baltimore being one, Tennessee being one.
Probably Atlanta this year with Bijan Robinson.
Atlanta being another one. Yup, exactly. It's not like it used to be when you had 6 really outstanding running teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
right. Anyway, on to day 1 of practice. Couple of interesting tidbits. I saw just some of the highlights and stuff from there. Jordan Addison had a very nice catch going across the middle in between a couple of defenders.
Falling to the ground, yeah.
Yep. Great job on that one. One of the interesting things that I saw Judd Zolgad had mentioned this, was that when they were in 2 cornerback sets, it was a Caleb Evans and Byron Murphy starting, running with the ones. When we were running in our base,
in a base defense. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Right. Which we expected.
We went over last week. That's why I was questioning it just now. Yeah.
Yep. But the interesting part was when they went to the nickel. Joanne Williams was running with the ones at outside corner, not Andrew Booth.
See, that's pretty crazy. We just talked about him last week too.
Yeah.
About that. He ain't quite out of the battle. And then right there is proving it, honestly.
Right. And then you've got Mekhi Blackman, who didn't hear much about him yet today, but, we expect him to, show up here in camp and push for that starting role eventually here too.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Booth was out there. It's not like he was injured or anything like that, but I don't know if
that's definitely one of those spots that we covered last week, and that's definitely a spot that is probably at the top 3 spots in the roster that I'm keeping a close eye on, to be honest with you.
right, because I mean, realistically, beyond Byron Murphy, none of them are set in stone. I don't think.
No, nobody's proven outside of that. I mean, Caleb Evans made some good steps forward last year in the plays that he made, and then the news coming in the offseason about working on his technique and tackling like that. That's good to hear. Well, let's see it translate.
Mm-hmm. Beyond that, I mean, of course, they're practicing just in the helmets with the foam bomber hats on or whatever today.
Yep.
So there's no actual contact or anything like that. But
I think Monday's shells are full pads. I'm not sure, but I know Monday is a big.
Yeah, I think that's the first padded practice. Might be Monday.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the case.
Right. I know I did something significant on that day. Either pads or it's either full pads or shells. One of the two.
Yeah, I think shells might be Friday or Saturday, and then full pads on Monday. If I'm
okay. Okay.
I looked at the schedule yesterday, but I don't remember it off the top of my head exactly the way it was. But that
maybe
sounds
next year
right.
we'll have to get up there again. I know it's been 2 years since we've been up there, so
yeah. I'd have liked to got down there. I would have liked to got down there this year, but I don't know that it's in the cards. So if something changes, we'll definitely keep you guys posted on it. But anyway, that's about all we got for tonight. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about from day one of training camp that you saw.
Not really much. From all the highlights and stuff that I've seen, there's only like about a minute worth of things that you can catch. So, and I think we pretty much covered it all. So
yeah, so a little bit shorter show tonight, but next week we're hoping to have a lot more to talk about.
Well, we should have plenty to talk about come next week. Yeah,
be getting into meat and potatoes of training camp by then. So
maybe next week we'll have Chester Cheetah on.
Yeah. But anyway, if you have not done so yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like.
Rhino.
Yes, Brunswick.
I want all you guys out there watching to put your favorite Cheetos flavor down in the comment section. Okay, continue.
Okay. Jalapeno ones for me, but that's. But yeah, if you guys are out and about this weekend, as always, take us with you. Don't forget, Monday we'll have the new episode of Rhinos Rants live, as always. So make sure you tune in, join in on the live chat. Most of the show we do, if you haven't watched it already, is interacting back and forth between myself and the viewers in the live chat. So we get some pretty good discussions going there. No topic off limits as far as the Vikings go. We'll hit them all, talk about it, and have a lot of fun doing it. Of course, Brunswick's Best, again, next Wednesday. We'll be looking at number 15. And as we mentioned, studio show next Friday, with a full slate from a week plus worth of training camp. So we should have a lot of good stuff there. Again, thank you everybody for watching. And why don't you take us home, Lance?
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys liked the show. It was a little bit of a wacky one tonight, but we covered everything we needed to cover. So with that being said, here's hope to healthy training camp and the healthy foreseen future. Aubrey, Millie, if you're out there watching, Dad loves you. SKOL.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
But specifically with the offense, you guys have a good team, man. And I'm not one to sit here and promise 13 wins and 11-0 in the one-score bits, but don't you agree that this is a good football team?
Certainly. I think it's key to have very high expectations as players of yourself, of your unit. Rather than just settling for being good, but to really focus on being great and knowing that to do that, your practices, your preparation, your training camp needs to be at that level. Mm-hmm. And so there are times when players may walk off the field and think they had a good practice and they're doing a good job. And you have to reframe the expectation. Mm-hmm. Now, good isn't what we're chasing here. We're chasing great. We're chasing a championship level, and that requires a different standard, and what you did today, while you may feel was good enough, it really wasn't, because the standard is much higher. So